All right. Luis, what's up, bro?
What's going on, Tito? What's up, Papito? How are
Uh,
you?
Chilling, bro. Listen, thank you for jumping on the show. Como, we call it. And you are one of my favorite singers, one of the baddest singers. And I thought we'd get an update, man. So, what have you been up to? If you don't mind, I'm going
Um,
to be cooking while I'm talking to you, though.
so what I've been up to, I mean, I've been writing. I've been, quarantine has gotten me like a little bit more creative. I
Hmm.
got no choice but to like get in the zone. Kale, I see. Um, getting me into my creative process. So I'm getting, I threw myself into this process and I started writing and writing and trying to reinvent myself in a certain way. And here comes the birth of this new song called Rompecabezas, which is, I'm very excited about that. We just
What
launched and yeah.
before we go into deep, what does rompecabezas mean for the people watching it?
Rompecabezas is a puzzle. Like rompecabezas means a puzzle. So the way I'm using it in this song, it's you know, I'm trying to put together this puzzle, and I'm trying to find out who that missing piece is. Because emotionally, I'm not able to get to a certain place. I'm like a little emotionally
I think
not available. Whatever you want to call it, is just my heart doesn't open up just that easy. So
I
so
think
I'm just trying.
I think life is a puzzle. That's why I
Yeah.
was so intrigued by the name and the story behind it. I want to share it because life, personal, professionally, pandemic, it's a puzzle. And even for what I get out of your song is like even through the moments of chaos, there's clarity, right? It's like all the puzzle pieces you see, like what the fuck is that gonna be, and then you're finally putting it together, right?
That is correct. So again, you could refer to it in a life perspective or in a relationship. In my experience, what brought it up for me was because I was going through this period, and I'm going through a period where I can't seem to open up emotionally, and so it's a rompecabezas, it's like a puzzle. How do I figure this out? How do I put those pieces together to get to that place where I feel like, okay, you know what? I'm willing to risk it all for you, and I'm
Oh
just like,
no, that's dope. And you mentioned that the pandemic kind of made you recalibrate. We had breakfast the other day, you and I. Talk to us how the pandemic impacted you, because we didn't think it was going to be this long, right?
right.
So how has that made you look at life for the future?
Well, thankfully, for me, I haven't. It hasn't affected me in a major way. I just feel for the people around me. My peers, my friends, my certain family members. For me, it opened up in a way that it gave me an opportunity to dig deeper into myself. Into who I am. Right? You got time to reflect on yourself. You're not out partying. You're not out. Trying to keep yourself busy, and you got more time with yourself to understand you and learn you and understand what you need to do to get to the next phase in your life, and that's what it did for me. I've had a lot of time to reflect. I've had a lot of time to be creative, and I always channel my things through art, whether it's through music, whether it's through pictures, whether it's
Yeah.
through videos. I'm just that person. I like to create things out of whatever I feel at the moment.
Let's talk about being creative, putting together a song, because this pandemic has hopefully ignited a lot or inspired a lot of artists, vocalists to invest in themselves. We have access to home studios. We have access to social media, so you have a distribution. Talk to us a little bit about Rompecabezas, because this is a song that you said yesterday. I'm starting zero. Que la gente no conozca Luis Damon,
Right.
right? So your first concept was to write a song, and tell me how you came about. What was the first thing? You wrote a song, you ran it by friends, then you had to find an arranger.
So so
Tell me about
so so remember, everyone knows me from the tropical stuff, from the Latin stuff, maybe from the dance stuff back in the day, right? So they have the stigma of who they think they're supposed to know who I am, right? But years have passed, but everyone always remembers that moment in time. So what I try to do was step back and say, how do I want to be perceived for the next 10 years? What is my next 10 years going to look like, musically? And what I decided to do was step back and say, you know what, I need to reinvent myself completely. So what do I do? I was always writing, and I got involved in technology. I do my own videos. I do my own, I do a lot of things myself. It's not like I have, like a huge team, and so everything you hear, you see is coming out, pictures, and
yeah.
that's all me, all brainchild by me, right? Obviously, you need a team to get it to the masses, but it starts with you. You're the product. So what kind of a product am I trying to portray moving forward? And in this particular case, is really like, there's a new listener out there, right? It's a new generation of listeners. The social media platform is a big thing. So you have to figure out how do you fit in this place.
So one, you said the product. Two, you mentioned social media, which when we've talked in the past, you've mentioned that the game has changed, and you're not trying to change the game. You're trying to find how you fit in.
That is correct.
Right. So how you fit in, but is it also fair to say that you also have to understand the business part of the game?
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
You have to really understand how, and I educated myself throughout the years to understand how this really works. So, because if you don't learn the business, then the patience part kicks in, and you get anxious and you start making mistakes because of it. Right. So if you don't understand the process, you're going to get anxious. You're going to think, oh, it's supposed to happen this way and not. No, it takes time to nurturing and getting people used to certain things. And then eventually when they become hip to you and understand what you're really about, they're like, oh, wait a second. I kind of did this. And then it all comes full circle. Yeah, so it's a process. It's a process that you got to, nurture little by little.
And a little history, you obviously were with Wea Latina when it was basically supposed to be the new thing, back in salsa, which even if it would have gotten big, who knows? Look what hip hop did. Freestyle was big and it didn't really pick up like hip hop. And a lot of my friends have said because freestyle or even tropical didn't pick up the culture. Hip hop picked up the culture, the sneakerhead movement, the inclusiveness, and that's probably for another time. But now we're talking about no labels or very selective labels because music has gone urban. Social media, would you agree, is very important to you, where you're focusing on every day to build your projects, to build your name, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. But I don't want to sell false things, right? It has to be very organic. It has to be very real. I don't, take it or leave it, right? Because it's what it is, right? You obviously want to market yourself so that people understand what you're about. But it's a matter of how the public is going to respond. That looks good what you're cooking, by the way. I don't know what you're
I'm doing a simple kale gnocchi cacio pepe with just water, salt, and pepper, and pecorino. But so you're talking about social media. Now, let me ask you this, man. I know, impromptu. Can you sing a little verse of Rompecabezas? Just right here.
No sé ni cómo explicar lo que me impide llegar, es igual que Homero de Canas. No he podido amarte como lo mereces, el diablo sigue triunfando. Hay algo dentro de mí que me impide entregarme a ti. Sin querer, te he metido en el medio de este conflicto que llevo. No quiero verte sufrir, quiero que seas feliz. Busco juntar cada pieza de este rompecabezas que me tiene perdido. Mi corazón quiere amar, pero la mente me frena y recuerda el dolor que he sufrido. Anyway.
That's sick, bro. Hey, that's dope. So
I just wrote that song, so I'm like trying to remember the words.
Well, again, we're gonna get it out there, and I love how we talked about the concept of the song, COVID created, and then you haven't put out something. How long has it been since you last really focused on music? Because we've been talking about how you've been trying to reinvent yourself. You're waiting for timing. You're very patient. Because I've approached you, hey, yo, we should do this. We could do this. Vamos a hacer esto. Boom, boom. When you
know what it was?
What was that about?
I found myself in a period where I was just throwing out stuff, and then there was no real sense of direction, right? I was a little lost, right? But I think as the pandemic came through, I started to realize, okay, let me step back, let me pay attention, let me see what makes sense and what doesn't make sense. And again, I'm trying to tap into a new audience. I'm trying to tap into the audience that's the listener today. And how that happened was just I listened to everything. I listened to the radio stations. I listened to how they're writing songs today. I listen to what the kids are paying attention to. I see the TikTok videos. I see all these things going on, and I'm like, wait a second. I can't try to jump into a new thing with an old thought process. You know what I mean?
You can't.
So I was able to first of all work on the image, right? I was slowly, I lost a certain amount of weight. I started paying attention to taking new pictures, and gradually, I always knew I could sing. That was never the issue, right? A vocalist is a vocalist, no matter, it could be to the end of time. So I already knew I had that ability. What I needed to do is, how do I put my ability into music today, and that's relevant, and people are gonna gravitate to it, because that's what they're gravitating to, right? It's like grabbing the masses. And I was waiting for that sound, and slowly I started working with my boy Caesar. I've been working with Caesar for a while. Judas is a good friend of mine, and we always experiment, we always try things, and that's the beauty of it, right? You gotta see what works, what doesn't work, what fits. And when I heard Rope Cabeza, I knew this is it. This is the place, this is the direction that I can go, at least reintroduce myself.
What's the goal of you? Rope Cabeza is just one of 3 or 5 singles you tell me you're working on.
Yeah, I have a ton of material.
Your goal now is to fit into today's game and win in today's game, because you're passionate, your talent. That's the thing about music. It touches people. Right. It impacts people.
So
emotions, correct?
Yeah. So my goal is really basically this, right?
Look at that, bro.
Coño, se ve buenísimo, sabroso.
Better than that omelet you ordered at the Dominican spot.
Listen, let's not talk about that, okay?
Yeah, no doubt.
Let's not talk about that. Omelet, it means different to many different people.
Yep.
But I guess my goal is to really to one, reintroduce myself. Let's start with that, right? Like, I want people to look at me differently, not the way they've been looking at me for the past how many years. I don't say how many years because it's a little long, but for the past somewhat years, right? And then 2 is, once I recognize me and understand where I'm going with this musically, because I write, and I could write a song tomorrow to what's going on. Like, I'm that person now. I'm talking to you right now, and 2 seconds later, I'm writing another monster. Like, I have another record right after this called Sentidos that I'm just super excited about. Like, this is just the warm up. This is the.
I heard it yesterday.
I'm just setting the table.
Now, people haven't heard you in how long again?
Huh?
People haven't heard you in how long? Consistently mainstream? 10, 15 years?
Well, it's been a while. And I mean, when I mean by heard me, I mean, they've heard me sing. I'm talking about musically, like production-wise. It's been years.
That's what I'm saying. It's awesome,
No, singing. That I can do that too. That doesn't matter. Singing, I can do it whenever. I can go to Grand Central and sing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Let me ask you this: who was some of the people that you that inspired you to sing, that you grew up listening to?
So I went through different phases, right? So as a kid, growing up, I remember when I realized I don't know how to sing, I started with George Michael, right? George Michael was like one of the first. Then as I got a little older, there was a movement, a movement that I think George was the guy he gravitated to at the time, because I was like, wow, because I could relate to him.
You said George Michael and who else?
George Lamond.
What song by George Lamond?
Without You. That's a song called Without You that just.
How does it go? No, can you sing a little bit of it? Hey, this will be the dopest interview you ever done.
Why you putting me on the spot?
I mean, let's do it. Well, give me one verse from Without You.
There's no one who could ever love me like you love me, right? I remember how it used to be. There was no stronger love. Anyway,
Bro, that's it. So George Michael, George Lamond, because I think a lot of the influences, and this is where I'm getting at, I think a lot of the influences that someone listens to molds who you are. Just like me, a lot of the chefs I followed or restaurants I went to mold me to who I am today, right? So George Michael, George Lamond, then who else?
Then Boyz II Men. Then I would study Mariah Carey, and then I would study.
So that's pretty unique for a male to be influenced by Mariah, because it's usually not so. It exists, but so what was it about Mariah that you liked? Because you have a certain type of voice.
Well, Mariah Carey, I think her voice when she first came, she was just beyond. I never heard a voice like that in my life. And I figured, I know I'm not supposed to sound like her, but if I make the effort to try to see what she was trying to do, it'll make me stronger. So it wasn't about trying to sound like her or trying to be like her. It was just, how can I strengthen my voice to get to a point at that level, right? At the highest level. So you practice with the best, So Mariah Carey was one of them. Luis Miguel was another one. Mark Anthony was another one.
I think now people, especially me, now people are seeing the product you're becoming because of your influences. And then you said yourself in the past to me, you're a vocalist.
Right.
you know, and it shows because when I've gone to arrangers, the arrangement will sound depending on what influenced them. So, for example, Chino Nunez is very exciting, timbalero. So he's up. It starts up. So if I want to do something consentimiento, we have to make some adjustments. If you listen to a Junito, where he came, you know, he's got the choir bass. That's why it's very gentle and harmonic, right? So depending on what kind of song you want, that's what the different arrangements are. And you have so much range that you studied to
Right.
form your own, right?
Right. Right. So I'm able to go to the, you know, the softer tones versus the stronger, more powerful. I studied gospel for years. I did gospel for many years. Like I'm just very well rounded in the vocal world, right? So, you know, again, and as you get older, you create your own style because that's what happens, and that happened with me eventually. So when you hear rompecabezas, it's one style, right? But if you put a piano and a keyboard and a guitar, I could sing a bolero like you would not, you know, like I just flip it on you.
But it's so preciosa, you killed it.
Right, preciosa, hallelujah. Like I have, like, I could turn it. I could turn it whenever I need to turn it, depending on the scenario, right? Because that's the beauty of what I do, right? I can go to the urban side and do and be, you know, make sense. It has to make sense, right? Because everything has to make sense. So this urban thing, the rompecabezas part, it's like a pop urban. It's not like a urban record, street record. It's more like a pop record. It only becomes street when you attach.
Well, it's who you are. At the end of the day, you're performing, but who you are. Look, you're wearing a hoodie. You're a badass hoodie. You're wearing Yankees. When we've hung out, siempre somos calle, even though we're talking about different things. You know what I'm saying? So let me switch it up a little bit. What is your pet peeve of the industry today of music?
The pet peeve of the industry, I think it's oversaturated.
Okay.
I think there's too much. You know, when there's too much information, it's too much, and you don't know how to enjoy, appreciate certain things. And then listen, it's part of it's the world we live in. It is what it is. But to me, I get a little overwhelmed when I see too many things because it's like, you know, remember when we were young, you used to fall in love with that one thing and you were passionate about it. Now it's like you don't know what to. You don't have that
a lot of collaboration. Una canción sale, and then you have 15 other collaborations. You don't really. It's like you think that Latin music today is kind of like Apple products. Shit comes out every week, right?
Yeah. So it's like you don't enjoy it. You don't really appreciate the artist, and you know. I mean, again, in some instances, I'm not talking about whatever. It's just I feel like there's so much information out there that it could hurt or make it better. So it depends how you look at it, right?
It could saturate. What's your pet peeve? What's your pet peeve in Latinos?
In Latinos, I think a lot of us are misinformed, right? We weren't taught a lot of things as growing up, right? Because we just get thrown in the woods, figure it out. But as you get older, you start understanding how the global things work.
Yeah.
You're like, why didn't I know this before?
We're knowing that sooner. We're knowing that sooner, probably because social media, right? Or have we?
Well, yeah, because now you're seeing things quicker. Even in finance, you know, like there's a lot of things that weren't taught to us, and we had to figure out and fend for ourselves. If I knew a lot of things that I know now, you know, I would look at things a little different
at a younger age. At a younger age, right? Like you said.
Well, absolutely.
I love what you just said. Finance, they don't teach that. I think they could do a better job at the high school level to make better adults, right? Okay, pet peeve in politics.
Ooh, politics. Ooh. I don't like where we are. I don't like where we're at today. Pet peeves is just I don't like a lot of misinformation, ill-informed. It's hard to base an opinion when too many people are putting too many. They're muddying up the waters, and you don't know. You know, it's hard to gravitate to what's supposed to be correct or not. And it's frustrating because now more than ever, because we live in a social media environment, anybody can say anything they want and people just take it and run. And it's gotten to the White House, and that's the craziest thing about it. It's gotten to that level. And when it gets to that level, it's dangerous. It's a dangerous thing.
Did you vote this year, this election?
Absolutely. Yeah,
okay, absolutely. So here's what I also want to do with Como. This is what we're on, is to show people que somos humanos primero.
Right.
Before you're a vocalist, sos un humano.
Right.
Before you are, choosing a political party, sos humano.
Right.
Before you decide to sing, sos humano. And we vote and we contribute. And we're responsible contributors to society. Y eso es lo que yo quiero, ese es el tema mío con esto, es para presentar eso to our people, right? Now let's get a little candid and fun. Who would be person dead or alive that you would love to have dinner with and conversate?
Frank Sinatra.
Really? Why?
Because I think he was, you know, when he was alive, I think his eyes has seen things that a lot of us would have dreamed to see at that time. And it was always the first, right? Because it happened in the beginning, you know, but Frank Blue Eye, he's seen a lot of things that I would like to understand and see his perspective on.
Got it. Last, your favorite dish on your last day on an island, what would it be?
Ooh, that's a good one. You know, I know I'm not supposed to, but I love Italian food. I love Italian food.
That's why I just made that cacio pepe. So Italian food, but what dish?
What dish in Italian food? I'm kind of simple. I'm not a foodie, right? Because yo soy medio jibarito when it comes to eating. I keep it simple. You guys get very creative and all, which I appreciate because then I learn. But I'm very simple. I'm very like chicken parm. I'm good.
There you
simple,
go.
Straight to the point.
So we've recaptured what you've been doing. We talked about Rompecabezas. We want our viewers to follow you and your progression and your fans and people like me who I'm glad how we connected and I became a fan to a friend to you, bro. So I really appreciate that. We talked about your pet peeves. We talked about you and looking at the industry. I think one of the important things to recap is for people in music is to understand that society of music has changed and you have to figure out your role in there to play to win, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And if you're a fan of music, then you got to check out Luis because the lyrics come from something within, and that's important. I'm a guy who likes the lyrics before anything else, you know. So if I hear a pregón that says, you know, mueve la cadera, to me it's like that's you're just cheating on stage. Give me something, you know. That's why in my later years I've been able to appreciate a Ruben Blades even more.
Right.
That's why dancing to a Luis Damon salsa, a George Zaman salsa, a Mark Anthony salsa, a Kevin Ceballos salsa that had lyrics that moved you, and then the arrangement made you dance. That was to me, right? And then we talked about, you know, your favorite things, man, because those are what we do when we hang out. We're talking about for today, you know.
Right. Absolutely.
Your next song is called what?
Sentidos.
Sentido. What's that about?
Sentidos is about, you know, when you know, it's your senses, all your senses, and how each sense gets triggered by her. You know, everything certain smell, the taste, the hearing, so you have all those senses, and you know, it's a really cool song, and
I love it. I want to go behind the scenes too, so our viewers can watch that. You probably haven't even started writing it. You can either end this interview with singing something from that or Hallelujah.
No.
Okay, let's do Hallelujah. Send us away with a little bit of Hallelujah for the holiday spirit, bro, because we have a lot to be thankful for, even during this nasty pandemic and tumultuous society that's divided, but there is always a positivity from it, right? So lead us out with Hallelujah, if you wouldn't mind.
Well, I heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord, but you don't really care for music, do ya? Well, it goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, the major lift, the baffled king composing hallelujah.
Yo, hey, bro, thank you for being an awesome human being. Gente linda, no come mierda, no gente fea. Thank you for being my brother, and thank you for making this one of the funnest interactive interviews out there, bro. So tremenda.
No, I always appreciate. You know, we met. You know, it's funny. We met through social media, right? Because I saw you posting stuff, and I'm like, wow, this guy's interesting, and I appreciated the positivity. I was like, I appreciate positive energy. Like, I like vibing with that. I like going with that, and that's all you kept putting in. And I was like, pay attention to this guy. This guy's really kind of cool. And that's how we connected. I was like, you know what? That's how we really connected. I was like, you intrigued me with your positivity, with your energy. And I'm like, And that's, you know, that's to me, that's important. I like being around that. I'm always about trying to do fun stuff and positive stuff, and I don't like worrying about the negative stuff, because, you know, eso va a pasar como quiera. Vamos,
Yeah,
vamos
bro.
a disfrutar la vida.
You attract what you reflect, bro. So thank you.
Right, right.
Hey, I remember that day I found the CD in my car para estar contigo with Olga, the duet you did with Olga Cañón. So even though we look 32, you know, that was back in the days. So again, thank you for your time, mi hermano. Te quiero mucho. Un abrazo. And we'll.
Thank you. Nos vemos. Gracias.
All right, bro.